Morning. It's the final day of Derbyshire's game against Glamorgan in the County Championship here at the County Ground in Derby, with Derbyshire looking for 3 wickets for an innings victory. But just looking for a victory, let's face it, to end a run of 26 matches without a win in the County Championship, stretching back to July and 1803 days. Here at Derby, stretching back to September 2019. It's such a long time ago that Taylor Swift was #1, would you believe? It's remarkable. Nick Webb is alongside. She probably wasn't, but
Anthony Eden was Prime Minister and you could get a pint of milk for 6pence.
It is that kind of day.
Am I Rohid? We're still here. Gwaitha pawb a phopeth.
Oh, don't start all
Am I
that.
Rohid?
All that warmongering. I've no idea what you said, but it's the tone of your voice.
We're still here despite everyone and everything. The anthem of David Ewan, which has been very popular, particularly in football fans in the last few years. And I think he's got a new memoir out shortly on the back of it.
We're still here. Nobody likes us and we don't care.
It's the sort of Welsh equivalent of that. Apart from the, yes, despite the blooming English is the sort of unspoken subtext of it.
Oh, excellent.
But of course, Derbyshire are captained by a Welshman now, so it's not so valid.
No. He's got a wicket.
He has. The best off spinner that, what did Morley say? Best off breaker he'd ever seen, or some words to that effect.
Yeah. It was the best off-spinning delivery in the 21st century, or something like that.
On a Saturday night.
Yeah, he was very good, young Jack Morley. Belied his young years.
Young years, yeah.
Yeah. He's going to bowl anyway, and I'm going to do an update. Quite an attacking field, look, Nick. Quite an attacking field. Yeah. He's going to bowl to Dan Douthwaite, who defends the first ball. It has clouded over rather alarmingly in the last half an hour, and there is a very strong wind blowing. I want to just inform everybody of that. Not a bad crowd. As Morley is in again, and Douthwaite pushes this one out into the offside. I'll let you. If you take 3 wickets in this over now, when I'm off, I should be very angry.
Glamorgan 25 runs short of making Derbyshire bat again, as Morley is in and Douthwaite is forward defensively. There's a man who was more in his natural habitat last Sunday, hitting 55 off 35 deliveries in a one-day cup match. But now he's clad in white and facing a red ball and defending as if his life depended upon it. But new ball is likely to be taken next over. Douthwaite 7, Crane 1 are the not-out batters. That after a collapse of 3 for 0 last night, which put Derbyshire from favourites to very firm favourites as Douthwaite defends off the back foot. Glamorgan losing the wickets of Cook, bowled by Lloyd for 28. Carlson, stumped Guest, bowled Morley for 56. And Van der Hoogten leg before to Morley first ball. 226 for 4 became 226 for 7. And that appeared to be game, set and match. Unless Glamorgan can hang on an hour or so and the rain comes to their aid, but it is meant to be clear by tea time, so rain should not impede Derbyshire's ultimate progress as Douthwaite is forward defending again. Maiden over to start the day from Jack Morley. 236 for 7, Glamorgan still trailing by 25 runs. So that's the first target to avoid the innings defeat. Dave Fletcher rejoins me from radio duties on his other box of tricks.
A lot of boxes of tricks, one of which didn't work first thing this morning, but we're all there. Have they taken the new ball yet?
Is that a new ball announcement? Well, Chappell's bowling.
I think it was just the announcement that Zach Chappell was bowling. I don't... Yep, there we go. New ball has been taken. Second over. of the day, with no addition to the overnight score. Zach Chappell, who's got 1 for 49 in the second innings, needs to take all 3 remaining wickets to finish with 10 in the match, having taken 6 in the first innings. Jack Morley needs 2 for 5 in the innings. Pat Brown needs all 3 for 5 in the innings. None of those are likely to happen. But you never know. You never know. Although you really do. Here is, should I do this one?
Why not?
Here's Zach Chappell bowling to Mason Crane, who gets the first runs of the day. Might be 4 of them as well. Morley's not going to get to that. It's whipped away down a backward square leg. And Mason Crane picks up his first boundary. The first runs of the day, as I say. Glamorgan move up to 240 for 7. They're only 21 behind now. They would love an innings victory, I'm sure, Derbyshire, but quite frankly, any kind of victory will do. We've been talking all about wins and how long it's been. It's been an awful long time. They haven't actually won a game in the Championship by an innings since 2011. So here, that was against Leicestershire. They have beaten Leicestershire by an innings since then. That's the only one I've ever seen. As in comes Chappell again. Crane defends it straight back to him. I have an email which was forwarded on to me. I'm sorry I didn't see it yesterday, Julie and Phil Rees, but unfortunately the original email address that you sent it to, I have no idea who's got it, but it wasn't me. Just bottoming out, confirming Lewis Rees's heritage. Born in Taunton. His dad Phil was born in Cardiff. Phil's dad was from Ammanford and his mum was from Llanelli. Lewis was brought up in Bridgewater. As in comes that next delivery from Zach Chappell. He had a little go at that, Mason Crane. He didn't get very close to it, and then plays a shot that, if he'd have played that shot, it would have been glorious.
He's essentially a West Walian, isn't he?
Yes,
really?
Brought up in Bridgewater before they moved to Lancashire. But of course, he went to school in Chorley. I've added that bit. Thank you, Julie. Always happy to hear from anybody. Just wanted to get that done and dusted.
Parents of players very welcome.
Oh yes, especially. Here comes Chappell again. Mason Crane waits, takes a little step as his trigger movement, and then leaves alone outside the off stump to go through to Brooke Guest. Anuj Dal is back and out there. We haven't heard news of the reason for his absence yesterday, but it's good to see Nudge back out there. So it's the starting 11. Look at that wind now. It's starting to get up, isn't it? It feels a little stormy.
Yes, if only Glamorgan can hang on until the storm saves them.
I'm not sure that it'll completely save them because it's due to pass through, but it just means any victory might be delayed as Chappell is in and bowls to Crane. It's a shortish delivery and it's worked nicely down the fine leg and it's 4 more. And Zach Chappell wearing a numberless shirt, I notice.
Yes.
As he walks back to his mark. 244 for 7. Glamorgan trail by 17. I'm not sure why that will
mislaid his, or has it just got grubby in the left? They just got grubby with too much bowling and he hasn't had time to wash them?
It's a bit bizarre. I'm fairly sure he wore a numberless shirt somewhere else this season again.
As long as he's not wearing someone else's shirt.
Yeah.
That's what I hate.
Yeah, no, that's not good, is it? They've taken out one of the slips, Nye Donald, and he's gone in at mid-wicket. Still got the fielding pads on. As Chappell is in again, and that one is, when it's a full shot, takes the bottom hand off the bat. It goes up to mid-on, but he was a little surprised by the bounce on that one, I fancy. And the over comes to an end, a slightly expensive over, a couple of boundaries from it. Glamorgan 244 for 7. Crane has overtaken Douthwaite. He's on 9, Douthwaite on 7. Glamorgan trail by 17, and we are indeed going to see Jack Morley take the new ball. I like this.
Yeah, why not? A little bit of bounce for the spinner, though must be said that the bowlers from this end have been more likely to see the ball keeping low, whereas the bowlers from the City end have got better bounce and carry on their deliveries. Seen some useful Derbyshire fast bowling during the course of this game. And Morgan been on the back foot absolutely throughout. I suppose the only point at which they might have claimed they were level was when Derbyshire were 2 down for 41 in their first innings. As Morley will bowl then to Douthwaite, who's forward, squirting it away on the offside, off the outside edge. And they will jog through for a single to point. Douthwaite goes to 8. And the total to 2, 4, 5 for 7. 16 runs in arrears. Is now quite cool for the spectators who've made it here to witness for the first time in 1803 days. As that one is floated rather by Morley and driven by Crane to short mid-wicket. Boris Johnson was only 2 months into being UK Prime Minister, having taken over from Theresa May in July of that year. As Crane drives to mid-on, and there is no run.
Been a few since then.
Bit of a turnover in the job, isn't there? This is a field I like. 4 fielders close round the bat at all points of the compass, as Crane deflects one past Donald at short leg and goes through for a single. 2, 4, 6 for 7 as Crane gets into double figures.
I think we can safely say that Pat Brown's not going to bowl anytime soon, because he's one of the fielders who's got the fielding pads on at silly mid-off.
Unusual for one of the bowlers, but it is an aesthetically pleasing field with a leg slip, a slip, a silly point and a short leg. It's almost a square around the batter. As Morley bowls and forward comes Douthwaite. Big man, long reach, and will look to make use of that to kill the spin wherever possible. It's a decent delivery from Morley. Douthwaite stretches forward again and gets to the pitch of it. And another over passes by, with Glamorgan now 15 runs behind, having added 10 this morning.
Yeah, it's an attacking field, which is good to see. There is room for 1 or 2 more there at some point, I'm sure, during the course of the day. Jack Morley bowling.
Reminder for Welsh football fans, the main event of the day is the
Liverpool game at Brentford.
I'm sure there'll be a few Welsh people very interested in that, but I was going to say Swansea City against Cardiff City at the Swansea.com Stadium. Coverage on BBC Radio Wales from 2:30, kick-off 3 o'clock.
My mistake. Here's Zach Chappell, 21st over of the innings. He's bowling to Mason Crane, who whips that one away towards the square leg boundary. Morley runs around. He will keep it inside the field of play, and then come back for a second run comfortably. Crane getting on with it. He's added 11 to his overnight score. He moves to 12, 248 for 7. Glamorgan just 13 behind now. More and more likely that Derbyshire will have to bat again. But then, of course, nobody who's watched Derbyshire, well, at any time during their lives, and almost probably will have expected this to have been easy, as this next delivery is defended by Crane out into the offside. Harry Kane comes in to do the fielding.
Nobody said it'd be easy.
Nobody said it was going to be easy. 248. For 7. The over 8 news is it's +1.
Way.
So nobody need to fear anything. It's an aircraft. Takes off away to our left. Its way to somewhere slightly less windy and possibly much warmer. This next delivery is defended by Mason Crane into the leg side. And it's fielded by Aniran Donald. Derbyshire supporters ought to know that Mason Crane has a high score of 61, and Dan Douthwaite has an unbeaten century in first-class cricket. So, no gimmies, these 2 wickets, by any manner of means. Tim van der Hoogten has come and gone. I'm just looking down my list. He's already been, hasn't he?
Yep.
Next delivery from...
His high score 80-odd.
Defended out into the offside. Ned Leonard and Fraser Sheet. The unknown quantities, the loanee from Somerset and the New Zealander. who's here for 3 matches for Glamorgan. Still to come.
First class batting average of 20.
Which is not bad.
Not bad for number 10.
It is in New Zealand, though. I don't think he's played over here first class before, has he?
No, he was playing Surrey Premier League.
Chappell bowls to Crane, who turns this into the leg side once again, where it's fielded once more by Aniron Donald. Matt Williams has been on with the subject of shirts. Very good. Is it a little facetious to suggest, says Matt Williamson, that Chappell wouldn't ordinarily need shirts for a full 4 days? Kind regards, Matt. FletchCricket@gmail.com if you want to send me an email. I've written it down, so I'll get there in the end. NickWebb2017 @gmail.com. NickWebb2017 on X.
Yes. It's my brand. T-shirts will be available soon.
Yeah. I remember asking when I first met you why it was that. Very good. FletchCricket@gmail.com. No, I've said that. Short ball pulled into the leg side and dropped. Dropped by Nick Potts in the distance, and Crane has a life. Potts got there but couldn't hold on to it. And the first chance comes and goes. Wow.
Well, there were celebrations there, weren't there? They thought he'd held on. He got there. He didn't really have time to get set underneath it. He was trying to take it while diving. And
it was
just
a tough chance. Tough chance.
Too difficult. Yeah. Made good ground to get there, but he was always trying to take it on the run and spilled out when his elbows hit the ground, as is only natural, I suppose. So Crane's dropped on 12 and retained the strike. Oh, those clouds are rumbling in.
They are. Yeah. The consolation is it's burgers for lunch.
Is it? All right. No hat tricks, please, then. Morley bowls, and Crane clips it away through short leg and takes a single. It's retrieved from somewhere in the vicinity of the umpire. 250 up for Glamorgan, 11 runs behind. As Glamorgan look to make this look slightly more respectable if they are going to go down to defeat, as seems hugely likely still. And forward stretches Douthwaite and defends. Whatever the eventual outcome from the individual's point of view, they might as well spend as much time in the middle as possible.
No, absolutely. Absolutely.
As Morley bowls a full toss that's just poked back to him by Douthwaite. Met Office says the chance of precipitation at 12 is 50% and 80% at 1. As that is a beautiful ball from Morley that beat the defensive prod of Douthwaite, but turned slightly too much to catch the edge. Still 3 round the bat. They've dispensed with the leg slip now. Brooke Guest is directing operations for the time being, bringing a couple of fielders in on the single. Obviously want the quickies to bowl at Crane as Douthwaite stretches forward.
He's dealt pretty well with Chappell so far this morning, a couple of boundaries.
Yeah, but was tempted into the mishook, which could have cost him his wicket. Shorter, faster, flatter, and Douthwaite has punched it to cover. And there is no run. 250 for 7, Douthwaite 8, Crane 14. Glamorgan trail by 11, so Derbyshire still with hopes of an innings victory for the first time here since 2011.
Yes, against the team that Derbyshire have twice beaten by an innings, the last 2 innings wins. The ball, which is
oh no,
3 overs old, 4 overs old, looks to be coming apart or has a bit of something on it, and they're inspecting it, the umpires. It was handed to them by Lewis Rees. It's now been handed back to Pat Brown by umpire Peveril. 2 umpires, Ben Peveril and Ben Debenham. Mr. Debenham is at the racecourse end.
Mr. Peveril has switched back to his baseball hat.
Yes, that's an indication of how windy it is. Possibly, as in comes Zach Chappell and bowls. That's driven gloriously off the back foot by Mason Crane. He's not going to get 4 for it because he didn't get all of it on it, and Lewis Rees has quite the chase. They're going to come back for a third, and they do indeed get back for the third as the throw misses Zach Chappell at the non-striker's end by some considerable distance. Crane moves to 17, 253 for 7, and just 8 behind now, Glamorgan.
That was quite amusing because it was through mid-off. It was actually fielded by Rees chasing back from mid-on rather than the man covering mid-off and cover.
Yes, and he's got the fielding pads on as well, hasn't he, Pat Brown? In fact, both of the fielders on the offside in catching positions have fielding pads on, but they're not really required because Aaron Donald has gone to cover.
Well, Donald hits the ball pretty hard. Dowswade hits the ball pretty hard. So
allows them to stop it with their shins, of course, now, if they want to, which would be magnificent. As in comes Zach Chappell again, bowls a short delivery to Dowthwaite. Quick look to the square leg umpire, and it's 1 for the over. He couldn't have hit it if he'd have tried.
That's
if that's the definition of a no ball.
Should have been signalled no ball on height, I suspect.
I think you might be right. You've gone very early with the no big coat on today because it's absolutely freezing in here.
Yes, I might have to switch sweaters if
I think I have to switch the heating on.
This lasts any length of time.
253 for 7, Glamorgan. In comes Zach Chappell and bowls. Just about keeps that one out, Dowthwaite. Inside half of the bat near the toe end towards Harry Kane.
But I've got one of my club sweaters on.
I noticed.
To mark a pair of 3-wicket defeats for our sides yesterday at Macon.
Oh dear.
Yeah, second 11. My boys lost off the last ball.
Cruel. It's a cruel game. It's a cruel game.
Should have got a run out to make it a tie.
Here comes Chappell again, halfway through his 22nd over. Bowls to Dowthwaite, who pushes this one out into the offside, fielded by Donald. Still people arriving.
And anyone listening in the Macon area, which is between Newport and Caerphilly, sadly the duck race, the annual fundraising duck race, has had to be postponed because the River Rumney is too high and we didn't want the duck catchers, some of whom are relatively small persons, usually swept away by the tide.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't be ideal, would it?
Hopefully next Sunday.
You'll be able to go to that then. This next one is guided very nicely by Dowthwaite down to a wide third man. Anuj Dal gives chase and gets to the ball now. They come back for 2. Dowthwaite into double figures, 255 for 7. The deficit 6.
Well, I'll only be able to go to it if Glamorgan against Leicestershire is over by.
Oh, yeah. You'll sweep them aside surely in 3 days, for goodness sake. It's Leicestershire.
Yes. There's been some rather boring matches against Leicestershire. And some very exciting ones as well.
There's no reflection on Richard Ray.
No.
Listen to that wind as Chappell comes in and bowls. That one is driven by Dowthwaite. Oh dear. Pat Brown sort of thought about diving for that one and then decided against it. And as a result, they come back for 2 more. Glamorgan, I'm not sure what he was doing there. Move on to 257 for 7. Dowthwaite on 12 at the end of the over. Mason Crane on 17. And Glamorgan, as the wind continues to howl, trail by 4.
Yes, it's not quite as gloomy as it was on Thursday morning. But that first hour, really 32 for 6. There is rarely a way back from that sort of position at the start of a first-class match, even though Glamorgan was just about taking it into the final day. But we did lose quite a lot of time yesterday. Best part of a session. It's better turn down the wind a little.
A little bit, yeah. Just very windy out there.
Still, this very pleasing 4-man, not quite in a square. As forward comes Crane to defend the first ball of Morley's over. 2-5-7 for 7. Morley in bowls, shorter, flatter, steered away nicely through the covers by Crane. Will pick up at least a couple of runs. Rees is off in hot pursuit, fields it a couple of metres in from the boundary, and they've run well there to come back for 3. Neil G, ever optimistic. Keep going, lads. 125 lead and roll them for 80. Yes.
Don't joke about things like that.
260 for 7. Glamorgan trail by 1. Nick Fayers says Glamorgan should have played young bowlers. Well, Ben Morris certainly would have a shout. As Douthwaite gets in a rather inelegant position to that one, but manages to defend it. Morley in again. Bowls, forward comes Douthwaite. In regard to our comments about smart speakers, Edward Cooper tweets, Alexa, can Glamorgan bat all day? We have no information on that, but probably not. Silly point goes to leg slip, and Douthwaite plays one back to the bowler, who can't quite get a hand to it, and it bobbles up to Chappell. Mid-off, and there is no run. Morley taking his time in past the umpire. Bowles and Douthwaite drives straight to Rees at cover, and there is no run, and Glamorgan remain 1 run in arrears. Congratulations to St Fagans, who yesterday clinched the South Wales Premier League title. And there's also a T20 competition going on today at Sophia Gardens for the club's finals day. So a bit of cricket there if you're in the vicinity.
St Fagans are former national champions, aren't they?
Yeah, the village comp back in the day. But these days they are thickly populated with players who have been in and about the Glamorgan squad.
There's Zach Chappell from the City end, bowling to Crane, who pushes this one up to mid-off, where it's fielded by Pat Brown. And there's no run.
Led by Owen Morgan, a spin bowling all-rounder who got a first-class century for Glamorgan at Worcester as a night watchman.
Nice.
Jeremy Lawler, who had a couple of seasons on the Glamorgan staff. Rory Smith, likewise. More than a couple.
Crane waits as the next delivery from Chappell is bowled. He cuts it into the offside. Nicely fielded by Donald at cover. And there's no run. 2 of the other games in this division appear to be heading for draws. Leicestershire are now 68 without loss, trailing Gloucestershire by 74 down at Bristol. Wickets at a premium, that is 14 have fallen. Middlesex have been bowled out for 264 by Northamptonshire, that's a lead of 57. Chappell is in again, bowls to Crane, who covers up and pushes it straight back to the bowler. Yorkshire will almost certainly beat Sussex, the league leaders. You would have thought they need another 43. At Scarborough, they're 60 for 2. So a potential opportunity missed by Glamorgan, unless they go on to win the game to really get themselves in the thick of the promotion race. I think we can pretty much write that off from a Derbyshire perspective, unless they go on and run of 5 wins in a row, and I'm not sure that would be enough. As in comes, oh dear, a bouncer from Zach Chappell, which is a very tennis ball bouncy bouncer.
Yes, Crane gesturing towards the path of the ball, and I think trying to suggest the umpire that really should have been an extra 2 runs on the total.
I think you'd have a case. only trailed by 1 now. That would have put them in the lead. 2 balls of the Chapel over to go. No, he's false started because Mescrane isn't 100% happy with the entirety of the field. It's Alasdair just moving back a bit, was he, at the backward point. As Chapel bowls, that's on the pads. Down leg side, though, and it's dribbling into the onside where Harry Kane does the fielding. So missed opportunities all round, really, I suppose, if Sussex lose, because they looked unassailable at the top of the table going into the matches at Scarborough, as they did on 150 points. Derbyshire could get into 3 figures if they can finish this match off with a victory. Triple figures. Did I say that? As this next one is turned into the leg side by Crane.
Yeah, 3 figures, triple figures.
Did I say 3
same
figures? I normally talk about double figures. It's the same, very much the same thing. And that would leave Northamptonshire as the only team who haven't won a game in the County Championship Second Division this season.
Yes. Are they going to pick up enough points to stay ahead of Derbyshire?
I think they'll get 3 points plus the 8, so they'd get 11.
Just been passed a note by Glamorgan scorer Morgan Barrell. St Fagans against Bridgend in the first of those T20 club games in Sophia Gardens. St Fagans 211 for 1 in 20 overs. Oof. Steve Reingold 130 not out. He played for Glamorgan in their one-day cup triumph in 2021. Callum Nichols, who's Glamorgan 261. So there we are. Big chase for Bridgend ahead. As it is Morley to bowl with a short leg, a leg slip and a slip, and forward pushes Douthwaite, defends to Rees at cover.
Yeah, now Northamptonshire would move on to 108, I think, if the match is drawn, which will be more than Derbyshire can get to.
As that one's turned and kept low, but fortunately for Douthwaite, it did not take the bat on the way through and rebounded, I think, off Guest's pads. 260 for 7, Glamorgan 1 run behind. As that's on leg stump, and Douthwaite thinks about trying to whack it. I don't think he really went through with the shot. Probably much to an Aaron Donald's relief. Short leg. There is a deep square leg should he decide to try to whack it in that direction. As that one goes straight on and Douthwaite leaves it. And Morley can't believe that it shaved the off stick.
That was close.
That was the one that didn't turn away from Douthwaite. And he didn't really read it. And survives just about. Morley in, bowls. Douthwaite leaves a ball that does turn away from the bat. So Glamorgan resuming on 236 for 7, have added 24. 1 chance, Crane dropped on 12. As forward comes Douthwaite and defends. There is no run. It's the end of the over. David Lloyd is signalling for some other piece of equipment
for about 15 minutes. I think he wants to go off.
Or leave.
I think he wants to go off. Certainly somebody's going off.
Perhaps he wants to change into his bowling boots, David Lloyd, and finish off the job against his former side.
See a change of bowling with Lewis Rees coming on from the City end. Zach Chappell bowled 4 overs for 18 in his initial spell of the day. He'll be hoping he doesn't have to bowl too many spells today. It's Mitch Wagstaff. He's now the 12th man with 22 on his back. He is replaced temporarily, I imagine, David Lloyd, as Alex Thompson goes for a net. Missing this game with a side strain. He's missed the entirety of the one-day cup as well, pretty much. I don't think he did play a game, but I wouldn't swear to it.
Mention of St Fagans in the Village Cup Just sent a photo of Andy Bell, former Welsh radio reporter, covering that campaign in 1981.
Rees bowls his first ball of the day to Mason Crane, pushed out to the offside, fielded by Kame, no run.
For CBC, a local radio station in the 80s, yes, for which he worked and I did subsequently. St Fagans back at Lord's the other day. The following year, sorry.
When independent radio was local.
When independent radio had speech elements to it.
Yeah, yeah. Not just that was and this is. Not off. 260 for 7, Glamorgan trail by 1. As Rees is in a bowls to Crane, it's a full delivery, pushed out into the offside, no run. Those were the days.
Oh yes, those were the early days of my career working for independent radio in the 80s. 83 to 90. Started off in a Newport-based station called Gwent Broadcasting, which was very popular, but didn't have any money.
Sounds like independent radio. This is Rees in bowl to Crane, who goes and smashes that one out into the offside, and the Glamorgan are in front. It's gone all the way to the cover boundary for 4. Dan Douthwaite marking his guard, despite the fact that he's just at the non-striker's end, really. He was marking it at the right end. Glamorgan lead by 3, 264 for 7. Mason Crane moves on to 24, so we can cross out all the stats about innings wins. There weren't that many. I like the one about the number of players in the Derbyshire side. Here's one for you all out there. How many players in this Derbyshire side, as in comes Rees and bowls around the wicket, and that's driven to backward point by Crane, nicely fielded by Dahl. How many players in the current Derbyshire side have won a first-class match on this ground? Anybody wants to have a little go at that for 4 or 5 minutes?
Think about it.
Do let us know. We know, but I'm asking you to let us know. Usual way. Rees, who runs pretty much directly behind the umpire, then sort of pops out at the last minute, bowls to Crane, who drives it to Kame. Cover. Again, there's no run. David Lloyd has done whatever he needed to do. I dread to think. It might even have been a chat with the coach, who knows. Any ideas, Mickey? We just can't get this first wicket of the day. I'm going to have to bat again.
1 brings 2. Bang, bang.
Yes, only you said. Just say that when you're out there. That'll do the trick. Here comes Rees again. Last ball of his over. Turned up towards mid-on, but it's fielded by Zach Chappell. So very tidy over, apart from the wide ball that went for 4, that put Glamorgan into the lead. From Lewis Rees, 264 for 7, 24 to Crane, 12 to Douthwaite. Glamorgan lead by 3.
It's coming, boys, it's coming. He's looking edgy, fishing outside off stump, etc., etc., etc. Rubbish sledging.
Yes.
There's very rarely any decent sledging.
Not anymore.
And not in the days of stump mics for international cricket, anyway.
Fly-on-the-wall documentaries.
And references to opponents' parentage, not on. Right, what's going on? It's a Derbyshire committee meeting. Former captain Madsen, current captain Lloyd, and current bowler Jack Morley will continue. As Dan Douthwaite, who has been very, very restrained. 12 off 56 balls. As he is forward defending. And there is no run.
Well, unlike Anuj Dahl, who told me on day 2 that he hadn't seen the weather forecast, I imagine that Glamorgan will have been looking at the weather forecast almost incessantly overnight.
As forward comes Douthwaite, yes, a few Sunday morning prayers.
They will know that there is some weather on the way. When it arrives, heaven only knows. Hence the prayers, presumably.
Here is Morley to bowl. 2 slips, and Douthwaite cuts it away, leaving them spectating as he plays it out to Dahl in the deep at point, and goes through for a single. Douthwaite has taken nearly all the strike from the spin of Morley in the last few overs, so Crane rechecks his guard. And Morley is into bowl, and that's cut away by Crane, but doesn't beat the dashing Dahl. That's point, moves smartly to his right to field. Met Office says 60% chance of rain at 12 in the Derby area. That's on leg stump, and Crane plays a sweep shot after the ball had hit him on the pad and trickled back down the wicket. I think he just kicked it away in essence. In comes the next delivery, played into the offside by Crane, who hasn't got the height of Douthwaite to be able to stretch to the pitch of the ball quite so frequently. And batters wander down from mid-wicket chat. No harm in them wasting a little more time if they can. But Derbyshire is still in discussions at various points on the field. And Rees of Cardiff, Ammanford and Llanelli Heritage is to continue.
Now, David Lester has got 2 of the names, but he only gives me 2 names.
Right.
Matt Williamson has got 3 of the names.
Well done.
There are 4.
Including the sort of joker element or not?
Yes, both have gone for the joker.
All right.
Double points. 265 for 7. Rees around the wicket balls to Douthwaite, who was looking possibly to leave that one, but he's going to get 4 runs down to third man. It was off the face of his bat. He does pick up 4 runs. He moves to 17. 269 for 7. The lead is 8. So 4 players have, in this Derbyshire side, won a game of first-class cricket on this ground. It's mad. Absolutely mad.
As is Mark Wood's injury record. He's out for the rest of the England-Sri Lanka series. Josh Hull has been called up.
It's good for Glamorgan. That one is left alone outside the off stump by Douthwaite. He's useful, Josh Hull. Tall,
yes.
Left arm, quick. He's left arm, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Goodness for that. I thought he
Believe.
was. Yes,
If I remember right.
I think he is.
Correctly.
I'm fairly sure he is.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Yes, left fast medium. Didn't play against Glamorgan at Grace Road. He was in the squad but didn't make the team.
Matt Williamson has taken one of his wrong answers out and put another wrong answer in. The 4 players who won a first-class match here as Rees bowls to Douthwaite, who defends. Keep considering. I think that would be the ideal there, Matt. Just a bit of fun. We're not allowed to give away anything anymore.
No. Run out of T-shirts, mugs, kettles, etc.
Kettles?
No, it's teapots. No, they did used to give away teapots occasionally on BBC Radio Wales.
The Radio Wales kettle.
No. I was going down the wrong line there.
269 for 7 as Rees bowls to Douthwaite, who defends this one back towards him once again. That'd be great. Whistle's bread of heaven when it's reaching boiling point.
Yes. Do they still make kettles that
The whistle?
just whistle
I
rather
don't
than
know.
switch themselves off automatically?
You'd hope not, wouldn't you, really? You'd be disappointed if you had to go and turn the kettle off yourself these days. As Rees bowls and Douthwaite defends into the offside, came Fields. Again, there's no run. Well, I would anyway, but I'm exceptionally lazy. Yorkshire have lost a couple of wickets, 77 for 4 now, but they only need 26 more runs to beat Sussex at Scarborough, where entry was free today. I believe it was free here.
They're sweeping people off the streets of Derby. Come and watch a little bit of history.
Terry Whitley has all 4. No, he hasn't. I beg your pardon. He's got 3 as well. This one is defended by Douthwaite, keeps low. And Douthwaite makes sure that everybody knows it kept low by playing it almost on his knees, some distance outside the off stump with his legs wide apart, rather bizarrely, but he kept it out nonetheless. 269 for 7. Glamorgan's lead is 8. Yeah.
I don't think Dan Douthwaite would win any points for elegance for his defensive shots.
No, I think that's fair.
Tends to get his legs splayed or pointing in unexpected directions quite often, but doesn't really matter. You don't get marks for style.
Ryan Manson and Pat Brown currently examining the ball in minute detail. They're not happy with it. Not sure why, but they're not happy with it.
It's not hitting the stumps, that's why.
Well, there is that. Yeah, unlucky Terry. You've got 3 out of 4 on X. I didn't realise this would be such a good game.
There's Morley with 4 now back round the bat, and Crane cutting it away, and he's timed that run rather nicely. It'll race away up towards the players' pavilion, and it has gone for 4 runs away to our left. 2-7-3 for 7. Glamorgan lead by 12.
Must be chilly out there. Zach Chappell's called for his long-sleeved sweater.
Yeah, I think I'll be
swapping
my long-sleeve sweater on, which I left in the box last night, so I wasn't wearing it this morning.
It'll be very cold if it was in this box all night.
Crane on to 28. And Morley is in. Derbyshire have now got a deep backward point, and that's slightly shorter. Well watched by Crane. Onto the bat, defends on the leg side. Why would you station a man 3/4 of the way back to the boundary? He's not going to get a catch there at backward point.
No.
Pointless. As forward comes Crane and defends.
Perhaps we should call it backward pointless.
Very good. He needs to be up in the gully if he's in that area, surely.
Yeah, he does.
It's very easy to set a field from here. As Morley bowls, and that's driven by Crane to mid-off. Chappell in the optimistic Sun Hat fields. And there is no run.
Yeah, always wears one. He wants to be a cowboy.
His sunnies are on the back of his sun hat. That says slightly back of a length, and Crane is on the back foot, turning it away on the leg side to Dahl, who's now popped up at mid-wicket, having been at backward point a couple of overs ago. Morley in bowls. Oh, that's turned miles. That's turned an absolute yard, and Guest takes. Crane played at it, didn't make any contact, as I've had an email on that subject.
Excellent.
Yeah, you've only spotted, you've got the match, but you've only got 2 out of the 3 who are on the Derbyshire side. What was the last one? 2017. It was 19, I think that's a. Thank you, Stephen Killick, anyway, for your email. He's got the match, but only 2 of the players identified.
Once you've got the match, I think you're in.
Yeah. Look carefully down that scorecard, and you'll see at least 1 more, Stephen. Thank you.
Here's Lewis Rees bowling to Dan Douthwaite, who defends the ball straight back to the bowler. And there's no run. I'm going to give it in a few minutes. I'm going to give it before midday.
Oof.
You've only got 10 minutes or so to get your guesses in.
Win the Dave Fletcher T-shirt.
Nobody would want this one. This is even cheaper than the red one. I do enjoy it when Asda have a sale. comes Rees again, around the wicket to bowl to Douthwaite, who pushes it out into the offside. It goes past Harry Kane this time as far as Pat Brown. So Chappell doing his stretches. Not sure he's going to come on anytime soon, but he has to stretch, otherwise he would basically just be as supple as a stick.
He was looking rather rusty yesterday, wasn't he?
He can do.
Wait another 30 years, mate. You'll find out what rustiness is about.
David Lloyd windmilling his arms at first slip. Here comes Lewis Rees, bowls to Dan Douthwaite. He pushes it up to Zach Chappell. Again, there's no run. Lead 12, 273 for 7. Derbyshire need a little spell with Lloyd bowling at one end and Morley at the other, and ripping away the end of this Glamorgan innings. These two batting very nicely, but as we've seen, even batters who batted sensibly can have a rush of blood. They've just got to stay patient, Derbyshire, and their rewards will come. There is Rees bowling to Dan Douthwaite, who plays it up to mid-on again, fielded by Zach Chappell. I think if I was in the ground watching, I'd probably be on the move myself. It feels like you can stay a bit warmer when you're wandering around the boundary. There are 1 or 2 on the move. Seen the old English sheepdog yet? Terry, you're still wrong. It isn't him. In comes Rees again and bowls. That one is just squirting into the offside of a leading edge of Douthwaite's bat. Came Fields. David Lester's added 2 to the 2 he'd already given me, and I'm afraid that neither are right. Come on, David. You're better than that. It is a belter. There's one person missing that nobody's got yet. In comes Rees and bowls to Douthwaite, who pushes it into the onside where David Lloyd has popped up at a shortish mid-on. And it's the end of the over at 273 for 7. Douthwaite has 17, Crane has 28. Glamorgan have a 12-run lead. And David Lloyd is going to bring himself on from the racecourse end. If that was the advice he got when he nipped off a couple of hours ago.
Can I have a bowl, please, Coach? Lloyd with the wicket that broke a 50-run partnership and sparked a collapse for Glamorgan. 3 wickets going for naught. Morley took 2 in the following over, the 70th and 71st of the innings. Glamorgan now in the about to start the 94th. 12 runs ahead. How far away is the rain? It doesn't look.
It's not. It's still a distance.
Yeah. It doesn't look hugely imminent. There's nothing absolutely threatening overhead.
Craig Nibbs has got the right answer.
Thank
you, Craig.
So, David Lloyd, fairly severe haircut these days.
I like it.
More hair on the jaw than the top. Is in to bowl, and that keeps low, and it's out. And David Lloyd gets the breakthrough. Mason Crane goes for 28. And that one did shoot, and Crane paid the price. Trapped in front, Lloyd has the breakthrough against his former side with his very first ball.
Yeah, I don't think there was much Mason Crane could do about that, really, because it kept really, really low. We've seen balls keeping low pretty much from day one. Not on a consistent basis, which is often even worse for the batters because they never know when one's going to come along. But he stood no chance there. It's been a really patient innings from Mason Crane, but he goes for a 66 ball 28 with Glamorgan leading by 12. And, well, Nick said it. He brought himself on to bowl yesterday, David Lloyd, and took the wicket that precipitated a mini collapse. Well, they can't really afford another mini collapse now because they only have 2 wickets left. Glamorgan And Derbyshire move slightly closer to a victory. I'm going to give the answer now, I think, because I'll forget. Well done to Craig Nibbs. The four men are Lewis Rees, Wayne Madsen, Anuj Dal, which proved reasonably elusive, and of course the man who's just got the wicket there, David Lloyd, playing for Glamorgan. Are the four men in the Derbyshire side today who have won a game of first-class cricket on this ground. I mean, it's pitiful, genuinely pitiful. I mean, a lot of people I thought might have gone for Brooke Guest, who's been here a few seasons. One or two went for Pat Brown, obviously playing for Worcestershire, but of course has hardly played any first-class cricket. Zach Chappell was a possibility, made his debut on this ground for Leicestershire. But they are the four. They are the four. We've got to line up all the ones who haven't won a game of first-class cricket and interview them all at the close of play and say, what does that feel like? I mean, there are some of us who haven't seen that many, in fairness, let alone played in any.
So it is to be Fraser Sheet to try to defy Derbyshire once more. He got 18 in the first innings before he was caught at mid-wicket off Chappell.
They'll have to stop because one of the sheets has just blown on down below us onto the ground, so it'll need taking off. And well, Jack Morley's been detailed with forget the ground staff. Jack Morley's come down to remove the sheet. They're quite heavy, by the way. They're not. Yeah, he's done a good job there as Jack. Yeah, oh, he says that'll do. That'll do. Well done. And gets applause from Zach Chappell at mid-off.
Lloyd enjoying this, no doubt, as he bowls to Sheet, and Sheet hits it for 4, I think, through cover point. It is being chased, but not quite fast enough by Nick Potts, and having delivered a killer first ball, Lloyd, a rather friendly next delivery that didn't really turn and was outside off stump.
It wasn't a great delivery, was it? You're very kind to him.
4 to Sheet, 2, 7, 7 for 8. The lead is 16. Lloyd bowls and Sheet pokes that one gently towards Rees at cover, and there is no run. So Derbyshire taking just over 50 minutes for their first success of the day in the 14th, 15th. Is that the 14th or 15th over the day? 15th, isn't it? So they started from this end. Decent effort by Mason Crane to survive that long, as that one is defended by Sheet. 2 short leg, no run. There are now 2 short mid-wickets on the drive. No, there aren't. There were, briefly. Anuj Dal is waved off to backward square for the top-edged pull. Lloyd bowls. Sheet is forward, defending. Ball dribbles down past Madsen, and he retrieves it. 2, 7, 7 for 8. Morgan at least putting up some resistance this morning. Crane was batting well. As that one kept low as well, but it was outside off stump, and Sheet managed to steer it away down towards backward point. Single is taken. David Lloyd earns a ripple of applause from the home crowd for his wicket-taking efforts.
It takes a lot to impress them.
Shania Twain.
Yes. Yes. Very much a Shania Twain crowd. So Lewis Rees is going to continue from the City end.
In the Test match, which continued into today, Bangladesh beat Pakistan by 10 wickets. Wow. Pakistan all out for 146 in the second innings. Bangladesh 30 for naught.
There are some severe problems in Pakistani cricket, aren't there?
There's quite a lot of politics goes on from the look of it.
Yes, only having brief conversations with Mickey Arthur.
Bradburn had a spell out there as well.
Rees bowls to Sheet, who defends this one down just to the onside of the stumps at the far end of the ground. There's no run.
Looks like Leicestershire are going to efficiently play out at Bristol for the draw. 92 for no wickets in the second innings. Still 50 behind, but Gloucestershire running out of time despite a couple of double centuries on their scorecard yesterday.
Well, Yorkshire just lost their 6th wicket. They only need 2 more to win. That would be remarkable. As this next one from Rees is a full delivery to Sheet, who defends it. 6 down, 101 for 6, chasing 103 to win.
Bairstow caught Hudson Prentice, bowled Carson, no score, second ball.
He'd get another chance, I would have thought, the young man, at some point.
Drop him.
That might be his only game of the season. Who knows? It almost certainly won't, because I don't think he doesn't appear to be in England's plans anymore. It's just Marcus Truscothick who's going to be in charge. There's a discussion going on, incidentally, at the moment. Marcus Truscothick, who appears to be taking charge of the one-day team, has already said Jamie Smith should be in the squad. He is a wicket-keeper, obviously. There are 2 catching mid-wickets as Rees bowls, and that one is defended by Sheet. Out into the offside, and there's no run.
Yeah, Yorkshire are due to come to Cardiff in the penultimate round of the County Championship.
Oh, and when it takes all, I can see it now.
A round in which I suspect some Glamorgan bowlers will be rested ahead of
Are you in,
the you-know-what.
Well, yes, no, you ought to mention it a couple of times, because you won't get a full day's mention.
The one-day cup final
that's the one.
Against Somerset on Sunday the 22nd of September.
There we go, back in the East Midlands.
It's a glorious Trent Bridge. What's going on? Derbyshire are doing a lot of reorganisation.
Yeah, but they've got the 2 catching mid-wickets. They've now got a silly mid-off who's quite straight. That's Nye Donald, and it means that Jack Morley's had to come across some long leg to backward point.
Yorkshire have won by 4 wickets.
Shame. Here comes Rees and bowls to Sheet, who turns that into the leg side, where it's fielded by Lloyd, who scoops it straight back to wicket-keeper Brooke Guest.
Johnny Tattersall batting at 8. A bit of a rather odd batting order for that. Possibly 2 night watchmen, I think.
You need that when you only need 103 to win.
As Rees is on his way, with fielders crouched everywhere round the bat, and Sheet is beaten by that one outside off stump. Pushing forward was the Glamorgan number 29, only to find the gloves, the ball in the gloves of the Derbyshire number 29, which is their keeper, Brooke Guest. Square leg is pushed back, point is pushed back. They look to be giving away the single off the last ball of the over if Sheet hits the ball square of the wicket. And Rees is in to bowl, and Sheet hits it directly back to the bowler instead. And there's no run. 278 for 8. Douthwaite has 17. Sheet has 5. The only wicket today in the first hour of proceedings, that of Mason Crane, who was leg before, to a shooter from David Lloyd for 28 off 66 balls, battled very well indeed, but in vain. Glamorgan lead by 17. David Lloyd is preparing to bowl again. And plenty of reorganisation going on. The threat of bad weather at 12 o'clock has come and gone, because we're now past 12 o'clock. And the rain has not come about. David Lloyd then to bowl to Douthwaite, who's back and defending and watching the ball very carefully, shuffled across in case it rolled the wrong way, and supervised it towards the edge of the crease.
There are one or two doom-mongers in the written media place.
As Douthwaite drives into the offside, we'll pick up at least a single. Chappell bends and picks it up. There might have been a second there since he didn't pick up cleanly. David Lloyd gets a horrible throw on the half volley that won't please him. He's still apparently wearing shades, David Lloyd, despite the grey nature of the weather at the moment. So he'll get a chance to bowl at Glamorgan's number 10. Fraser Sheet, 279 for 8, and the field being readjusted yet again. This is your own time you're wasting.
That's the issue with them being +1, of course. Lewis Rees wants his
What the doom makers of the written media?
About the rain arriving at midday. Oh, they've got to do it by midday. They've got to do it by midday. Right. It'll rain. I'm looking at the rain radar. I'll be surprised if the rain radar's right, if it arrived before 3 o'clock.
No, it seems to have pushed back a little bit now. The likely precipitation. So they may well have another hour to wrap it up, which may well be enough. Lloyd bowls. Oh, that one's shot along the ground. And Sheet had time to play it. The David Lloyd spot has emerged outside off stump for the right-handers. He's looking to make the most of it as Sheet stretches forward, defends down to backward point. The gale begins to howl once more.
Just put the heating on.
Ah, thank you.
I brought your jumper closer as well.
Good man. But Lloyd bowls a full toss that Sheet has missed out on. Slightly surprised by that, and presumably fearful of clubbing it straight to cover. He clothed it to mid-on along the ground instead. Kames at a silly mid-on now as a good ball from Lloyd, but she deals with it well, defends. Lloyd doesn't bother to pick it up. Chappell tries to play football with it and fails, and at the end of the over, Glamorgan 279 for 8, single off it. Glamorgan lead by 18.
Jack Mortley just taking, leaving the field momentarily. He's going to be replaced by Yusuf bin Naeem, who is on as 12th man out on the mid-wicket boundary. Man who made a century for the Seconds earlier this week. Just signed his first professional contract, along with Harry Moore. Good to see Yusuf out there. Might get an opportunity before the end of the season, who knows?
Yeah, there were a couple of big scores in the second 11, weren't there?
There were, yes. It was the second biggest. They're still messing around with the field here. They've only got one slip now, but they do have 2 mid-wickets. One is very straight, the other one is not. As Rees bowls to Douthwaite, who defends this out into the offside, where it's fielded by Harry Kane, and the sun comes out.
Huzzah.
Yeah, at the county ground in Derby, where it is generally sunny. Northamptonshire have lost their first wicket against Middlesex. They are 13 for 1, trailing by 44 at Merchant Taylor School.
Surely not enough time for a result there. That's TRJ, Toro Joe and Cohort go bonkers.
You would have thought so, would you? Rees bowls and Douthwaite defends, just taking 2 steps to his left. And now Donald fields it right in the middle of the pitch. That's how close he is to the edge of the strip. In fact, it rather looks as though Fraser Sheet, if he's going to take a run, will run in between Donald and Lloyd. Well, he'll have to. As he runs the outside of Lloyd, in which case he'll be a long way away. Wayne Madsen, the solitary slip. Guest standing up. Douthwaite drives this ball out into the offside. There's a dive by Kane that fails to stop the ball. It's picked up by Pat Brown, and they go through for 2 runs. Douthwaite moves to 20. 281 for 8. Morgan's lead is 20.
Yeah, one of the slowest 20s that Douthwaite has ever scored, I'm sure.
How it should be.
Well, he wants to be a red ball player. He's got to be able to adapt.
Yeah, absolutely. This is perfect for him, really. As he defends the next one that bounces a little bit more than he was perhaps expecting from Lewis Rees.
Went into this game averaging 29 with the bat in the championship this season. 6 wickets at 50, despite his heroics with the white ball. Doesn't quite seem to be transferring his skills into the championship in the bowling department as yet.
Rees bowls too many leaves, that one alone. It's a good leave. Straight to the hands of Brooke Guest. Jonathan Case writes, if we can pull off the miracle of a red ball win in Barbados today, it's worth considering what has passed since the last time, which we have been doing over the course of the last 24 hours or so. Baz ball was still a twinkle in McCullum's eye. The 16.4 was still only a twinkle in the suits of the ECB's eyes, and we've been through a global pandemic. This next delivery from Rees is pushed straight back to him by Douthwaite, no run. If we can get this over the line today, he says, I fear for what could happen in between wins again. Yes, 1,803 days.
Another 4 Prime Ministers.
We don't want another pandemic, for goodness sake.
The Tommy Steele remix will be top of the charts.
Any old iron.
281 for 8, Glamorgan 20 ahead.
I don't know. Was any old iron a Tommy Steele?
No idea. You'll have to consult my better half on that, who is more of an aficionado of music of yesteryear.
That is very yesteryear as well.
Some of which may be played on the Roy Noble programme on BBC Radio Wales between 5:15 and 7 tonight, starting quarter of an hour later because of the football. Lloyd bowls, and off the back foot, Sheet jams it into the pads of Brown at Silly Point. Lloyd bowls a full toss that Sheet hammers straight to Rees at cover. Brown didn't enjoy that one. At Silly Point was taking evasive action. Lloyd bowls, Sheet forward, oohs and ahs, but he did get a good stride in and got forward so that he'd got outside the line of the off stump. If it did strike him on the pad, which it didn't. Lloyd bowls short, and Sheet tries to cut and mistimes it slightly as it dribbles very gently to Zach Chaplet mid-off, and there's no run.
Pat Brown swapped sides now with an Aaron Donald. Wait for this ball to be bowled down the leg side.
Lloyd in, bowls, and that was short and flat, and played by Sheet to deep mid-on. They go through for a single off the 5th ball of the over. So it seems that Sheet is happy to face at either end. They did turn down singles a little bit off when Leonard was batting, I think, in the first innings, but he went on to make 15. Lloyd bowls, and it's eventually dropped after being knocked up in the air. There were shouts of catch it. Bodies all over the place.
It looked like it came off Wayne Madson's foot, possibly, or the wicketkeeper's foot, and it just looped straight into the air on the offside. I'll let you describe it better. I've seen a replay, hopefully.
I think Madson managed to knock it up somehow at the slip towards Guest and possibly off the forearm. It's extraordinary. We'll hopefully get a closer inspection of things.
Did it actually hit his bat? I assume it did.
I'm not sure. Well,
it looked like it hit the pad.
Guest didn't know where it had gone, and then the ball suddenly spilling back towards him. Well, we won't know whether it did hit the edge of Douthwaite's bat on the way through. Derbyshire obviously thought it did from their shouts of catch it. Guest didn't see it. Bouncing all over the place.
Tommy Steele records are fascinating. We'll come to those in a minute as Lewis Rees begins a new over from the city end, bowling to Sheet, who gets slightly squared up by that one. I think it might go all the way to the boundary. It has. Did it come off the bat? I think
Edge,
it did.
wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, came off the edge of the bat. 4 runs to Sheet, who moves to 10. The lead up to 25.
Safe edge, though, because it fell short and wide of Madsen at slip.
Famously, of course, he did Little White Bull. Very famously. Got to number 6, I think, in the charts, according to this. What a mouth, what a mouth, what a north and south. Was one of it.
Don't remember that one.
86 for 8. Reese bowls. That one has struck the pad. There's a big appeal and he's gone, and Sheet is out, LBW. He doesn't quite believe it. He has 3 looks around at the umpire, who still has his finger in the air. And, well, they're 9 down now, Glamorgan, with a lead of 25. Sheet goes for 10. Lewis Reese picks up his first wicket of the second innings, 286 for 9, but it didn't like it. That's all.
We'll have a look at the replay to see if we can identify the reasons for his
I imagine he thinks he hit it, did he?
displeasure. He's looking back, Oasis style, in anger.
He's not a happy man. He turned and at least twice, if not 3 times, looked at the umpire before he eventually set off on his way.
Did he think it was going down leg?
That's always a
Possibly.
difficult one for a batter to know that, isn't it? But usually they're very upset when they've hit it. I've just missed the replay on the big screen. Show it again, Matt, on the big screen, would you, for me? 286 for 9 now. For some reason, Jane is trying to, like it, Matt, he's trying to work out. Yeah, kept a bit low, might have hit leg stump, might have gone down, but he's holding his bat as if to say, look at this.
Yes.
Jane was trying to work out who the next batter was, but there is only one. come on, Jane, you're better than that.
Edward Owen Leonard.
He also did a number of songs. There's a theme that was developing.
Right.
He did one called Happy Go Lucky Blues. He did one called Knee Deep in the Blues. He obviously enjoyed the blues a lot. And Singing the Blues.
Oh.
Which is famous, isn't it? That was a #1 chart hit for him in 1956.
Is that the same one that was covered by Dave Edmonds?
Yeah, the blues. Yeah, I think so. That one. Yeah, that's the one. I don't think either of us are really in a position to.
I'm the Welshman who can't sing.
That was 1956, and he still managed to release something in 1991.
All right.
Remarkable. Here's Lewis Reese then, trying to finish the Glamorgan innings off. Bowls to Leonard, who's beaten. Ball goes through to Brooke Guest. The Glamorgan lead is 25. This could yet be over before lunch.
Yes, that would be the likely outcome at the moment. Derbyshire aren't going to mess around, are they?
You'd hope not. 5 down and clinging on. Lots of close fielders either side of the pitch, as this next one is off an edge. There's an appeal from cover from Anuj Dahl and from a very wide mid-on from Zach Chappell, but from nobody else.
What are they appealing for?
I have no idea, because that came off his bat, didn't it?
Bat or glove.
Yeah.
Deflected down into the ground.
Unlikely, yeah. Unlikely to get that one. There comes Reese again. 1 for 60 in his 15 overs and 4 balls. Bowls to Leonard, who is off the mark as he guides the ball down to third man, where it's fielded by Morley. 287 for 9.
I wonder if we will see any evidence of Douthwaite
Well,
changing his approach.
Well, yeah, I mean, if they'd have been on 70, it might be worth it. But is it worth it at
Try and whack a quick 50.
a lead of 26? Yeah, I suppose.
Hope the rain comes.
Yeah. It's an option. No question. He's only got 1 ball to show us if he's going to change his approach. And Reese bowls, and he's bowled him. Well, he might have been trying to change his approach, but he's off stump side of the ground. And Glamorgan are all out for 287, which means that Derbyshire will need 27 runs to win this game as Harry Kane races off. Lewis Rees finishes with a couple of wickets, and Dan Douthwaite dismissed for 20. 81 balls he was out there for. It was a very watchful innings again by Dan Douthwaite, but comprehensively bowled by Lewis Rees. And Derbyshire are now on the brink of their first win here at the County Ground in Derby for 1,803 days. Douthwaite had a look behind him when his off stump was uprooted. I'm not sure he could quite believe it. He's basically played down the wrong line. I don't think the ball did an awful lot. And Douthwaite is the last man out. The ground staff come on to tickle up the strip out there in the middle. Derbyshire's openers have already departed the scene, and in about 10 minutes' time, Lewis Rees and Harry Kane will come out to the middle to try to win this game for Derbyshire before lunch. And well, we'll watch it, myself and Nick Webb. We'll be back then. Oh dear.
The United States had just been discovered by the Western world.
Oh, it's terrible, isn't it, really?
Yes, because those who lived in the United States previously knew it was there all along.
Yes.
So saying
Well,
the United
yes,
States
quite.
was discovered.
Yeah. I think it's an appropriate time to say that only 5 times in their history have Derbyshire batted and got less than 27.
Here comes number 6.
Twice, 3 times against Yorkshire. Remarkably. One of them was here, but that was in 1880. So, barring any major alarms, they ought to complete victory probably within, what, 8 overs? Or something like that. That's just batting normally. But you never know what a couple of wickets might do. 2 slips then for Fraser Sheet, who is in to bowl to Harry Kane, who is off the mark first ball. Ball goes down to backward point and Derbyshire up and running, 1 without loss. It would appear that every single run will be greeted with applause.
Oh. Well, I told you Glamorgan supporters were applauding Warwickshire dot balls last Sunday in the One Day Cup semi-final.
How did that go?
Quite well.
Excellent.
Yeah, we broadcast it successfully. Hit all the radio bulletins.
Which is, don't say radio bulletins, I just looked at the clock. I clench every time somebody says radio bulletin. There is Sheet around the wicket to the left-handed Lewis Rees, who defends it out into the offside. And there is no run. Yes, Morgan had the enticing prospect of another one-day cup final to come next month. And the entire country will be rooting for them, barring a small enclave around Taunton. There's a Sheet with a very straight run, actually, around the wicket. Balls to Rees. That one's down the leg side. Nicely taken by Cook, diving away to his right-hand side. Really nice take by the Glamorgan wicket-keeper. Northamptonshire have lost their 2nd wicket now. They're 41 for 2 and still trail Middlesex by 16 at Merchant Taylor's. Leicestershire. I need a calculator to work out how many runs there have been, but it's over 1,000 now, comfortably. At Bristol, Leicestershire 141 without loss, trailed Gloucestershire by 1. As Sheet bowls 2, Rees turns that one into the leg side. Carlson fields and threatens to turn and throw the ball to the non-striker's end, but holds on to it. Another dot ball. Yorkshire having already won by 4 wickets earlier today. There could be just 2 winners in this round of county championship matches. You've got fairly decent odds on those 2 winners being Yorkshire and Derbyshire. As welcome as it is, Rees leaves this one alone outside the off stump. Yorkshire temporarily, which is no bad thing, have moved into 2nd place in the 2nd division of the county championship. Just 8 points now behind Sussex, who remain top. People tuning in specifically to watch an historic moment here. Thank you, Peter. Good to have you on board. 1 without loss. Rees waits. Sheet bowls to him and he clips that one into the leg side. Carlson again does the fielding, throws appallingly to Cook and then apologises. Try and keep it off the ground, Kieran, if you possibly can. End of the first over, then 1 without loss. Derbyshire need a further 26 runs to complete victory. It has been a while. And Kieran Carlson might have held on to the ball because he's going to bowl from the racecourse end. I'm going to save Tim van der Hoogten for the One Day Cup final.
Yeah, Van der Hoogten's on the field, but he's done such a lot of bowling recently that
his lengthy rest
is
starts here.
understandable. Well, I thought they might have given Leonard a blast. Might as well have a look at him.
Well,
Further
yes,
look at him.
quite.
And he did bowl with a bit of pace, but the hirsute, Kieran Carlson, has talked himself on to see if he can find the spot, I suppose, that David Lloyd was shooting them from. Outside the right-hander's off stump. Not like that, he won't, as it's down leg side, and Chris Cook makes a good save. So a slip and a leg slip. It makes sense, I suppose, given that the ball had shot 3 or 4 times, the first of which got Derbyshire their breakthrough. As Carlson bowls, it's about there, and it's defended by Kame.
Any old iron, apparently, was Harry Campion. Thank you, David.
Right.
Long before Tommy Steele.
Okay. Take your word for it. As Carlson bowls. And Kame clips it away off his pads, but only as far as short mid-wicket. And there's no run. So slip and leg slip. Man on the ropes at deep backward square, mid-wicket, mid-on, mid-off, cover point. As that is turned through the leg side by Kame, he will pick up several runs. In fact, 2 of them, as the crowd applauds. And fielding done by Ben Callaway. And this grey weather. Ingram had slipped, bouncing up and down to keep himself warm as Carlson bowls, driven into the offside this time by Kame. Van der Hoogten will do the fielding at deep cover, and they'll come back for 2. They had to hurry, but Kame was safely home, and Van der Hoogten looked somewhat aggrieved that they took on his arm there. I think he was rather expecting them to settle for a single.
Lights coming on.
5 without loss, Derbyshire. 22 needed. Oh, that's on leg stump. Carlson knocked away again for a single down to backward square. So Derbyshire getting there in a hurry. 6 for naught after 2 overs, needing 21 further runs to win.
Yeah, David McCardle adds that if Derbyshire win, he's going to put a lettuce in the fridge and see if it lasts longer than the gap between this one and our next one. Very good. Jed on Twitter as well, Jed Hampson, also suggesting that Ryan Duckett will have to wipe the dust off the red ball win bonus ledger. I think if I was negotiating a deal to come to Derbyshire, one thing I wouldn't have is a red ball win bonus. I wouldn't want to rely on that to pay the mortgage. Fraser Sheet, the New Zealander, to continue from the city end. Bowling to Harry Kame, who guides this very nicely out into the offside. Backward of square, single taken, 7 without loss. Further 20 required in the remaining 71 overs and 5 balls potentially available today. David Griffin poised, well, not quite poised actually, but sitting where the players will leave the field after this almost certain Derbyshire victory. 7 without loss. Sheet in, bowls to Rees, who clips this way down a fine leg. There is a fine leg down below as it's Mason Crane, and they're only going to get a single for that. Rees gets his innings up and running. Derbyshire move on to 8 without loss. I'm sure there is a page of 10 wicket wins somewhere, because even they're not plentiful, or haven't been plentiful, I don't think, over Derbyshire's long and illustrious history. As Sheet is in, bowls to Kame, who pushes this one out to Carlson on the off side. Let's have a look, see if I can access such a page. Possibly not, but I think that might be beyond me, sadly. I'll keep looking though. Sheet is on his way in. The wind howling as he bowls to Harry Kane, who guides this one. One bounce down to third man for 4. Very much a product of the one-day cricket. I fancy that shot from Harry Kane, but it was short and it was wide and it was a safe shot as he played it over the 2-man slip cordon. For the first boundary of the Derbyshire innings, they moved to 12 without loss and now need 15 to win. It's freezing, by the way. I put the heating on, but it is perishingly cold. The choice to wear shorts, which seemed appropriate with the sun blazing down at 7:30 this morning. Sheet bowls to Kane, who defends this one straight back to him. It seemed like a fairly sensible decision. Clearly, it was not a sensible decision. Because it is very unpleasant. And hats off to anybody who came to the ground this morning wanting to see a Derbyshire win. I suppose if you sat...
Hats off, yeah, hat's likely to blow off, frankly, at this point.
If you've sat through 2 years' worth of non-victories, so 2 years, 5 years, that one is pushed out by Kane into the offside, you probably think, well, I ought to go and watch them win.
Yeah, 2 years of non-victories at all venues, I suppose.
Yeah, yes, it's just embarrassing. Mickey Arthur will get a long-awaited victory. White ball has definitely improved. Now we're going to see an improvement in the red ball. 3 wickets for Morley, 2 each for Rees, Brown and Lloyd, with 1 for Zach Chappell in the second innings as Glamorgan made 287 in their second innings.
Kieran Carlson then will try his luck from around the wicket to the left-handed Lewis Rees. Chris Cook waving square leg, a little squarer as Carlson bowls and Rees is forward. Playing back down the wicket, Carlson wanders across and snatches it in front of Douthwaite. Crane looking rather chilly at mid-off, hands in pockets at times. As Carlson bowls, turned around the corner, there'll be runs here. Colin Ingram is dashing back from slip. There'll be 2 runs, and that'll do for Lewis Rees. A further ripple of applause as Derbyshire move to 14 without loss, more than halfway to their target of 27. Carlson bowls, flighted, driven on the leg side. Morgan are treating this professionally, having serious bowlers on. Carlson bowls, nice ball up in the block hole, and Rees digs it out, plays it defensively back to the bowler. So Derbyshire look to be beating both Glamorgan and the weather, as that is a cut shot from Rees that misses through to Chris Cook. And there is no run, so 13 runs to win. As Rees is forward defensively, shouldn't be any question of having to delay the lunch interval with 20 minutes still to go. And well, Glamorgan now resigned to their fate, as they probably have been since the breaking of the overnight partnership between Douthwaite and Crane, who at least had a chance of trying to ban out the morning. They lasted some 15 overs today before Lloyd made the breakthrough and Rees finished it off, and now Glamorgan are treating it with some levity as Sam North East.
I was just going to ask if North East was a regular bowler.
No. This is official silliness. With all due respect to the skipper.
Oh yeah, that's horrible. North East bowls wide of the off stump. Kane actually has to reach a long way for it to bunt it out into the offside. He's in again, and Tosses one up, and he's got a wicket, has he, Northeast? No, says the umpire. Well, Sam Northeast was convinced he'd got Harry Kane there. Caught behind by Chris Cook. Has he got one? That's the question. Has he got a first-class wicket? Sam Northeast, I bet he probably has. Roger is being naughty on Twitter as Northeast bowls again, and Kane pushes this out into the offside. Ingram fields.
Not to my recollection for Glamorgan.
As he bowls again, and Kane goes back and cuts out towards the cover boundary. Picks up
one first-class wicket.
One, excellent. Picks up a single. Harry Kane moves on to 12. They need 12 to win. 15 without loss. He's bowling to the left-handed Lewis Rees, Sam Northeast, on leg stump. There's an appeal from cover and mid-wicket, but from nobody else. Calm down, boys.
2013.
That was his wicket.
It was.
It's been a long time between drinks as this one is pushed out into the offside by Lewis Rees, and the Northeast over comes to an end. Just the one run from it, which doesn't really reflect the standard of the deliveries, I think it's fair to say. Kieran Carlson's going to continue, and Derbyshire are 15 without loss, needing 12 to win. 3 to Rees, 12 to Kane. He'll be on strike. The two batters have a fairly lengthy chat in the middle of the pitch. So unusual is it that Sam Northeast has bowled, and one of the websites still hasn't got him on. An entire over of him, and he hasn't got on.
Carlson bowls, forward stretches came, and there's no run. His wicket was Chris Dent, caught and bowled.
Not a bad one.
No, Gloucestershire opener. As Carlson bowls and came drives to Leonard at mid-off, and there's no run. Trying to work out the circumstances. I think that was trying to induce a declaration by the look of it. As forward comes Kame and defends. It was in the third innings of the game.
Okay.
And Rob Key was also among the bowlers, who's not known as a bowler for Kent.
Finished with 1 for 60.
As that's flatter from Carlson, steered away by Kame on leg stump. They may want to get the job done before any possibility of rain, but Kame understandably wants to have a not out next to his name as he drives to mid-on, and there is no run.
I think most of the rain I'll be driving through on the way home.
So Carlson bowls, and that's pulled viciously through mid-wicket. 4 runs to Harry Kame. He moves to 16. Derbyshire to 19 without loss, needing 8 more runs to win.
Leicestershire have lost their first wicket now down at Bristol, 153 for 1, but their lead is 11, so you can't see that game going anywhere particularly. Northamptonshire 49 for 2 against Middlesex, trailing by 8. Yorkshire having already completed victory over the leaders Sussex to move up to 2nd place in the County Championship 2nd Division table. Sam Northeast then, 8 to win. Lewis Rees on strike. Northeast is in, and Rees turns that into the leg side, but straight to the man at mid-wicket, who's Ben Callaway. And there is no run. One thing that Northeast does is get through his overs pretty quickly if the ball doesn't go anywhere, as Rees plays the next one back to him. So we can expect another delivery within 15 seconds or so. Kieran Carlson just flexing his right elbow. A backward point as Northeast bowls a full toss to Rees, who smacks that one away for 4 down towards the deep backward square leg boundary. And Derbyshire are within 1 blow of victory here at the County Ground. 23 without loss. They need 4 more to win. That was a lovely full toss on leg stump from Sam Northeast. Rees made the most of it, moves on to 7. And here we go. Northeast bowls to Rees. It's another full toss. It's another full toss that's helped down towards fine leg, and there it is. The ball hits the rope now, and Derbyshire have completed a 10-wicket victory over Glamorgan. Their first win here at the county ground for 1,803 days, September 2019, when they completed victory over Sussex. Lewis Rees got a century in that match. He hit the winning runs in this. It's their first win anywhere in the county championship since July 2022 against Worcestershire at New Road. It's been a pretty comprehensive victory for Mickey Arthur's side, who haven't got enough points to climb off the bottom of the second division table. But surely this will give them a boost ahead of the remaining 4 matches of the campaign.
Well played to Derbyshire. Glamorgan were really second best from about 12 o'clock on Thursday morning. Put into bat in difficult conditions, 32 for 6, and although they showed fight at stages during the game, it wasn't really consistent enough or sustained enough to get them back into contention at any point. A little bit of fight this morning from Douthwaite and Crane, but once that partnership was over, it was just a question of time. And congratulations to David Lloyd and to Derbyshire.
Yes, David Lloyd's first victory as the Derbyshire skipper. He doesn't captain either of the white ball teams, and it is Lewis Rees and Harry Kame who lead the team off. The rest of the team have come down the steps to shake hands with the opposition. As you say, Nick, it was that first burst from Zach Chappell that did all the damage really in this game. Glamorgan always behind the 8 ball, Derbyshire always on top. David Lloyd is leading his side in the congratulations and the commiserations. The lights are on. It is perishingly cold, but we are in August, remarkably. And we have played a game of county championship cricket in August, so there's something. I tell you how dark it is. David Griffin's flash is going off furiously on the edge of the pitch. We will get you some reaction. If you want to watch on our social media channels, it's probably your best bet for Mickey Arthur's reaction to his first win for 2 years. I'm sure
there'll be a few words on the bottom of the BBC report, no doubt, which he'll be concocting in the next few moments.
I haven't seen Stephen, but negotiating an indoor venue for the video that we do with Mickey Arthur at the end, and mainly because the wind is so strong out there, it would be almost impossible to hear the audio. So there we are then. Thanks, Nick, for your company over the last three and a bit days.
Thank you for your broadcasting hospitality. Pleasure as always to be here.
May I offer you all best wishes for the One Day Cup final.
Thank you.
At Trent Bridge. We'll be rooting for Glamorgan when they take on Somerset in the One Day Cup final at Trent Bridge next month. And Derbyshire are next in action down at Hove, beautiful Hove, next Thursday. Adrian Harms and Nicky Beatty, I believe, will be joining the commentary team as well. And Glamorgan are at home to Leicestershire.
Indeed. We will be renewing battle with the Foxes at Sophia Gardens on Thursday morning. Hope the weather is a bit better on the south coast of Wales and of England than it has been over the last couple of days. But well done to Derbyshire.
And the good news for any Leicestershire fans listening is you can watch that for free. We'll see you soon.
Cleared.